Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Hackney. I'm the Director of Investigations and Homeland Security. Just about a year ago, I stood out in the hot sun and appealed for answers in a case that is very troublesome, very touching, and it's taken a while, but I've gotten some answers to those. I'm extremely pleased to announce that this afternoon the Sheriff's Office has made arrests in the murder case of Daniel Rowe. It occurred July 22nd. We're just 2 days off of the 1-year anniversary of this, around 10 p.m. at the Blind Rabbit restaurant. As it was closing, Daniel Rowe was helping out one of his co-workers and took some trash outside, and there he came to meet somebody who would obviously change the rest of his short life, but also change the life of many other dozens of people. And in the course of what we believe committing a robbery, took Daniel's life by shooting him. Had a co-worker with him, and that co-worker gave us some information about the suspects that we had, and as I stood up last year and talked about it, it was very limited information. Daniel's wallet was taken, and the co-worker saw a couple young black males running across the street when, right after this occurred, Daniel was taken to the hospital and died from there. Let's go back into into November of last year. We had an inmate who was in jail on some burglary charges, began coming to our attention, and we worked this case through the suspect in those burglaries and began painting a picture of the suspect, who I'll tell you about in just a second. But as we worked those cases, another case of a strong arm robbery that occurred back in March of last year, which is about 3 blocks away from where the Blind Rabbit is located, where Daniel was killed. We started putting information together that the suspect who we had in jail for these burglaries was responsible for not only that one, but as things started coming together, it looked like he was responsible for Daniel's murder as well. Sometimes these investigations take a protracted amount of time, take longer than we want, take longer than the families want, but we don't stop. We work till we get a case that we can take to the prosecutors, that it's going to be a successful case. We don't want an arrest, we want a conviction. We don't want quick justice, we want lasting justice. And we've worked ourselves there. So as that case started coming together, the use of the Crime Stoppers tips that we mentioned that day was crucial in getting some information that we needed. That is really kind of what started pointing us towards this individual who was in jail on these burglary charges. And as that came to pass, we worked some behind-the-scenes magic in the pretrial detention facility and took some recorded conversations that our suspect had with another inmate, where he implicated himself in Daniel's murder and also this other robbery that occurred back in March. Again, not seeking fast justice, but seeking good justice. We continued to build that case, working towards some physical evidence that we needed, and it has culminated today with being able to charge that inmate who is in our pretrial detention facility still on these burglary charges with Daniel's murder. Today, this coward by the name of Aaron Marquise Coleman, who's 25 years old, is a 12-time convicted felon, has weapons charges back to '06, has been charged with murder, armed robbery, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon in this case. Again, this is, I'm pleased to announce this arrest, but in no way the lives that have been impacted with this are made any better by this arrest. It may provide them some answers, and it may provide them a slice of justice, but it doesn't provide them their son back and their brother and their sister, their brother back. It doesn't provide these folks who stand behind me with anything other than a sense of an answer to a year-long question of why, and sometimes that doesn't even come. It is through the assistance, as in all these cases that we work with Ms. Corey in the State Attorney's Office and her folks that are there, that allow us to work these murder cases like we should, to reach this point here and to continue it on from here once we turn it over to them and work with them. I would like Ms. Corey, if she could, to take a second and talk about this.
Well, this is a case that back in February, I looked this amazing couple in the eye and said, we will get an arrest on this case. JSO will do it, and they did. And it's like every case they handle, they work tirelessly. I can't tell you the number of phone calls, the number of leads they followed up, day, night, you name it. Nothing was too small for them to chase after, to seek justice. So to be able to stand here with them today and assure them that we will carry that ball forward, seeking justice. And Janine Kirch, I couldn't be more proud of you. Janine had to take this case over from another one of our prosecutors. And as we do, as Director Hackney mentioned, a lot of times you think these cases are gonna solve more quickly than they do. So when they do have to change hands, the one thing that our victims and our public can be sure of is that we are never gonna stop looking for the right answers and working with JSO in their tireless quest for justice. So it's a good start. It's an amazing start to have this arrest under our belt, but we've already said there's gonna be a long road, and they're willing to take that road with us. So I wanna thank all the men and women of law enforcement. JSO has just been amazing. And if you recall, they were working very many other serious cases at the time. So they do everything they can on each case, and you can tell there is no time limit. It's whatever it takes. And that's the way it always has been and the way it always will be. So God bless you all, and Tom, and to you and your department, thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela. I've seen the courage displayed by Daniel's family. I've hugged this nice lady's neck every time I've seen her, and my heart breaks for them. And I'm truly touched by their courage and their ability to stand up here today and stand up and speak for their son when they've had to. I can't imagine myself in that shape, in that predicament, but they've done so. And I would like to give Ms. Rowe just a second if she would like to say anything.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a bittersweet day for us, but I just want to take a moment to thank all of JSO, the Justice Coalition, the State Attorney's Office, Crime Stoppers. We've just really, through this tragedy, been handed a great group of people to help us get through this. We've held each other's hands and tried to get through it together. The most difficult part sometimes is sitting and waiting and just letting everybody else do their job. But that's what we did. And today is the great result of that. They took the time and everything necessary to get us out there and to get us some answers. And this is just the first step, we know, but it's a great step. And we can't thank them enough. Tom Hackney, Detective Chapman, I don't know where he is, and so many other great folks from JSO have just been wonderful to us. So we just want to take this time to just thank everybody. There's a list that's way too long. We can't possibly mention everybody, but we're here to stay. And as we go through this, we'll also be taking the Riverside community with us, and we'll just stand there and we'll get justice for Daniel, and then we're gonna get some help down in that area. So thank you everybody for being here. The press, you guys have been great to us too, just keeping this story out there. I can't imagine where we would be if we didn't have so much great support through this process. So thank you everybody. We really appreciate everything.
How do you come up with words for that? We can't do our job without the team that we've established, the team of detectives and supervisors that I have that work for me, that work these cases on a daily basis, do so at the giving of their own hearts and their own families' times. You know, I mentioned Crime Stoppers, and I mentioned Justice Coalition, and it's part of the team that we've established and the team that we regularly rely on and put together in these cases. It is not something that we can do on our own. This case was brought together by tips from the community, by somebody pointing us in the right direction. As I've stood up before you many times on cases, I've talked about it's that one little piece of the puzzle that we may need. And I asked for seemingly innocuous information to come forward. And in this particular case, that one particular thing pointed us in the right direction, pointed us in the right way, and it led us down this path to where we are today. There are 2 suspects that are responsible for this murder. One of them remains outstanding. In this particular case, there is the potential that a Crime Stopper award to be paid out very soon to the first tipster that gave us this. To address some of those issues and the way that we work together, Wiley Hodges, the Executive Director of First Coast Crime Stoppers, is here. And I'd like Wiley to take a second if you could.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. You know, it's been said already several times, you know, this is a bittersweet day. It's a great day that at least one of these individuals has been brought to justice, or will be. But it doesn't take away, you know, the hurt that this family feels. But it does give you some closure, you know, and hopefully that will help you sleep at night. You know, I know it's got to be an awful, awful time. But anyhow, I am Wiley Hodges. I'm the Executive Director of First Coast Crime Stoppers. And I guess I'm here today, number one, to announce that for the tip that came in on this particular case, it was very instrumental in helping solve this case. We will be paying out $13,000. Hopefully this tipster will give us a call tomorrow, and we do pay upon arrest. So anytime after tomorrow, we'll be paying this $13,000 out. You know, just to reflect, just very briefly, this is what it's all about. This is why Crime Stoppers works. This is why you call Crime Stoppers. It works. We solve crimes. We work together. We work with the Sheriff's Office, State Attorney. We work with all the law enforcement agencies in town. We guarantee the anonymity. No one will ever know who you are. I don't know who's going to get this $13,000. Don't know today. I won't know when they pick it up. But we're going to pay the money out. And it's because they called, remained anonymous, gave us the information. Now, going from there, I'm asking for whoever's out there that has the information on where the second suspect is, call us. I got some money for you. It's not going to be $13,000 unless someone else comes up with some additional money, but I do have $3,000 bounty on their head. And you know, the $13,000, we always start out with $3,000 on any murder. And we had an anonymous businessman that gave the additional $10,000. So that's where we come up with the $13,000. But we do pay upon arrest. We'll be paying this immediately upon talking to the tipster. And I'm sure that after hearing this, they'll probably be on the phone pretty quick to give us a call and see if they can collect the money. Again, you know, I feel sorry for the family, our condolences, but I am happy that we've got one piece of this puzzle solved, and God bless y'all in the future. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
With that, I'm happy to entertain some questions.
Director Hackney, can you clarify what happened in the jail cell after you got this tip? Were you using an informant, another inmate? You said you recorded a conversation between he and another inmate.
Yeah, we used another inmate who was willing to come forward. I stand up here a lot, and we all do, and have to address what people think about this code of silence and the don't snitch and this and that. Well, I can tell you that it doesn't exist in the form that people may think it does from watching TV or watching the media or watching whatever, because we get voluntary cooperation, and many times people aren't even looking for a buck. They're just looking to help out, and that's what occurred in this particular case in the jail. We had an inmate who was willing to step forward and come and assist us when it came to helping out in that case. And that's what happened here.
And that started with the Crime Stoppers tip, led you to look in the jail at this person, then you went to the informant?
Yeah, that all kind of worked simultaneously as we started putting this together.
When did that conversation take place?
That part of this, before this, I don't want to get into specific dates, and I'm not going to try this case here with y'all and give too many facts out that could damage it, but it was after the November when he was incarcerated for the other charge.
And we just had the 1-year anniversary here, I think it was 2 days ago. Is this just coincidentally coinciding with that, or was this all happening at the same time?
This, this has been occurring since then, since November, since he's been in jail when these tips came together. The fact that we're 2 days away from what was the 1-year anniversary is just happenstance. We weren't waiting for anything in particular until we got the last little bit of information that we needed to be able to put this together today. It would have looked and been neat to have done this on the 1-year anniversary, but again, I don't set a timeline for these things. When they're ready, they're ready. When they're to the point that we feel like we've done all we can do and turned over everything we can turn over, then that's when we make our arrest.
Chief Hackney, Jenna Bourne with Action News Jax. Did the suspect, Aaron Coleman, have any kind of relationship to Daniel Rowe? Any reason that he was targeted?
No, we've not been able to find anything that linked him to him other than the fact that he saw easy pickings, or what he thought was easy pickings indeed.
Do you believe Coleman was the shooter? I know there's another person that's outstanding. Do you believe there were 2 shooters? Do you believe that he was the shooter, and was the gun a stolen weapon?
We've not recovered the murder weapon in this case. I'm going to kind of hold back on my personal thoughts of where we are with that. I know I can tell you that he is responsible for the events that occurred, and without going into my specifics of what I think he did or didn't do as part of this group, I don't think it'd be prudent to the case or anything.
Is he being cooperative?
As much as a murderer can be.
Has Aaron Coleman named another suspect?
No, not as of yet. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here talking about number 2.
Can you say anything else about the outstanding suspect you're looking for?
Initially, it's a younger black male that we had at that particular date and time. And if we could have that person who may, now we know Coleman, and somebody may see him, see his picture out there, know he's associated with this particular murder, have known some of his associates. This is obviously somebody who Coleman has ran with before and been in the same social circle, for what that's worth. Maybe seeing Mr. Coleman off the streets of Jacksonville and held responsible for this crime is enough to give them that little boost that they may need to pick up the phone and let us know more than we know now about him.
Right around this time, we had a string of violent crimes in Riverside, this one being the worst, and then a bunch of others. Do we think Mr. Coleman was involved in a number of these? Because a lot of them were unsolved.
It's part of obviously what we look at. When we have somebody that's responsible for these, especially when they're robbery related, you find a lot of times these robberies are interconnected to one another. It seems like the 2 that we found him responsible for now are the 2 that we're pretty sure that.
What was the other one?
The one from March 25th of 2015.
Can you say what was that, a robbery?
That was a robbery on the 700 block of Ralph Street, and that was an armed robbery to a female that was there. So he's responsible for those 2. So yeah, he doesn't have the market cornered on armed robbery, unfortunately, and he doesn't have the market cornered on the Riverside area. But we will certainly look at his relationship to other crimes there.
Any other questions?
Ms. Corey, can you say if there was any sort of deal struck with the informant?
We wouldn't comment, Janine. Do you want to comment at this point, or you want to wait?
I would like to wait on that.
Because one thing we just need y'all to remember is that obviously one of the blessings in our community is we work with JSO, because they make their arrest based on probable cause. The reason we work so closely with them, and we've staffed this case numerous times, Janine and some of my other lawyers have put in as many hours as needed, and I told you the untold hours our detectives have put in. It's to build the case before the arrest, because with this arrest, it starts our time limits. Speedy trial starts, and all sorts of legal obligations start. So that's why it has taken this long. Now that the arrest is made, Janine will be going forward to the grand jury, and then discovery will reveal some of the things you're asking. So we would prefer to wait because that's going to come fairly quickly after this. So thank you, Scott. I'm sorry not to be able to answer that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Director.
And thanks to the media for their effort and time with this case.
Thank you.
Thank you all.